What up? We're back with another episode of Whispering to Your Soul. I am here with the one, the only, the lovely, the amazing, the adorable Miss. I'm taking over the world. I'm about to be on every single commercial, every single show, every single movie. I'm really like that. I got my own seasoning in my own name, Miss Serena Renee, the one-stop shop. You did.
What's up? What's up? What's up? I am here today with the one and only King Jaquil Martin. King, I am so proud of everything that you're doing, like from your podcast to Whispering with Your Soul to, just being a producer, director, actor, like you out in Hollywood doing your thing. Listen, I'm so proud of you, man. Keep doing it. Keep doing it.
Big shout outs because I got to be a part of Hollywood Black with Justin
Yeah.
Schumer. And they're up for an Emmy, which is huge. And because we worked on the show, that means we're up for an Emmy just as well.
Let's go.
So, hopefully, not hopefully, when it wins, your boy I have an Emmy up under his belt because I got to work on that show, which is truly amazing. Big shout out to A. Noel, shout out to Jonay. These are the two beautiful queens I got to work with on this show. They were amazing. Super grateful to be a part of that team, and just seeing where this documentary actually goes. Very powerful, fire interviews, learned a lot, being on set. Also have a movie dropping August 15th called Clicker. Y'all make sure y'all go watch that. You feel me? Coming to a theater near you or a stream near you real soon. I'm playing Masterpiece Bodyguard. Shout out to P. Shout out to Skeeter Jones, who actually blessed me to be able to audition and book a role in that film. So big shout out to the big bro Skeet. Love you, brother. We've done a lot of work together, so I want to give you the roses and the flowers. And Saturday, I'm actually competing for the district Toastmasters International World Championship. So we're just working. The grind is real.
Talk your talk. I'm so proud of you, man. 2025. 2024 was like a year to set your foundation. 2025, we're taking off. We're leaving no stone unturned. It's up from here.
Yeah, that part. And I know you got some things that you can't talk about, but shout out to the NDAs, you know what I'm saying? Shout out for the things that's in the oven cooking. Shout out to the things that are about to be released. Shout out to y'all wanting to be nosy and find out what we talking about. You feel me? But you gonna see soon enough because you know what they say, what's done in the dark is done in the light. You know what I'm saying? It comes to the light. Right. You feel me? And that could be good or bad. But in our situation, we got some beautiful and amazing things that's coming out of light because we've been putting in the work in the dark by doing things the right way. You don't have to sell your soul. You don't have to act a fool. You don't have to do something that you can't be proud of when you look back over your book of life. So big shout out to just hard work and doing things the right way. Might be a slow grind, but guess what? At least you can be happy about what you did and how you got there, Absolutely. So we got some fire topics today. You want to get into the topics, sis?
Let's go.
For sure. Before we hit these topics, shout out to the team, shout out to the squad, shout out to A. Noel, shout out to Justin, shout out to Jeffrey Akoff, shout out to Charles, who's also on the show that's a part of this whole team. Shout out to this Whispering Soul team because we're doing big things, big man.
Big things.
First clip.
The problem is, though, we stay committed to the environments that we're comfortable in, and it's literally draining us of our own potential. Right. You can't grow in environments where you just are comfortable, and you can't grow where you are the top dog in that environment. And you know this already. You hear this so much. It's just for whatever reason, you hadn't done anything about it yet. You have to be in the environment. It gives us new goals to add to the vision board. It gives us a picture of realistic expectations, because sometimes, Chance, that's all we're missing. We're missing the picture of realistic expectations and how it applies to our lives, because you're looking at what your parents did when they worked for Coca-Cola and IBM and Google back in the day, instead of increasing the vision by looking at current success stories and people who have done it on a grand scale and saying, okay, it can be done. Every small opportunity that we get in these big, massive environments, we have to maximize and optimize them. You'll learn something and you'll get something. You should leave every experience changed. And if you don't know how to get into the environment, if you don't qualify to be in the environment, figure out how to serve your way into that environment.
That's good meat on that bone. Some good meat on that bone right there. What do you think, sis? about that
I love what
conversation.
you said. If you not qualified or if you ain't in those environments, just that serve your way into those environments, and that's what you and I had to do to get where we are today. And we still scratching the surface. People are looking at us and thinking that we have arrived. I mean, we have arrived to a certain extent, but we're not where we want to be. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I love that, because the fact of the matter is, like she stated, you know, when you're in environments, you outgrow certain situations, you know, certain people. And it's just like, you know, like a fish or a turtle, right? You have them in a tank. And every time that turtle get bigger, you got to put them in a different, a bigger tank, right?
Well, why is that? Why you got to do that? Why you got to do that?
Because he outgrown it.
Yeah.
Right? And what he's going to do is he's going to keep hurting himself, bumping into the glass, scratching up his shell. You know, he's going to damage himself because he has outgrown that environment. And things that's within that environment, you know, it might have not been toxic when he was little, right? But as he got bigger, those things have become toxic because he can't grow anymore. That means that he's going to be stagnant. He's going to, you know, not be able to do his purpose. All of the things. So everything that she said is absolutely true. A lot of times I've talked about when we've been on these podcasts that you need to evaluate your circle every quarter of the year. Do this person serve me right to be where I'm about to go and, you know, in the next season of my life? Is this environment is where I'm supposed to be? For example, when I first got here, right? I've been back and forth, you know, from California to Florida, you know, for work and stuff. So I kind of knew the lay of the lands, but I didn't know it as a person that lived here, right?
Okay.
So long story short, you know, I get here and I'm like, okay, I need to find out, like, what are the events where I need to go and network with people that's locals and things like that, right? So I was going to these events. That was the first season of my life here in LA. When I went to those events, it served purpose for 90 days, okay? For 90 days, it served the purpose that it needed to serve. And guess what? I'm no longer in those events no more. I'm no longer around the same people that I used to see every single time I used to go there. Because why would being somewhere every Friday, every Saturday, that you see the same old people that's trying to do the same old thing, how is that making you grow? Right? So I had to evaluate that. And I moved on to the next phase of my life, which means a next level of people, a next level of environment. So you need to have adaptability to change your environment in order to grow and to pursue the things that God has for you, especially for your purpose. Because at the end of the day, if God gave you a vision for what your purpose is, and you're around people that are dream crushers, because they are people that are assigned to crush your dreams, okay? And yes, that can set you back 5 to 10 years. And you're like, dang, why haven't I, you know, succeeded like King? I was saying in the same environment King was. How he get over here and I'm still over here? You're that way because you haven't evaluated your circle. And it's not just about people, it's about the environment that you go to. Every single time you go to a networking event, are you networking to say, oh, well, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, and you see the same people, and now you look like the Hollywood person at that event every single time. You're the Hollywood celebrity in that event. But what are you doing outside of that event? Do you see what I'm saying? Like, what are you doing outside of that event? Are you really working? Are you really taking those connections that was beneficial to you at those events and leveraging what you have, not only for yourself, but the person that you actually met as well? It's a collaboration. It's not a take. You got to give too. So when you're elevating to your next level and you're outgrowing those small circles, those small environments, you know, you have to have it in your mind that just like someone was helping you, that same person you have to give back to as well.
I love that.
I hope that made sense.
First of all, that made perfect sense to me. You sometimes just gotta let her cook. She was going crazy. Love that. I pray that somebody, just even if it's just one person, could take the meat off the bone and, you know, just appreciate your words of wisdom and that it's a blessing for them. I love the service part. A lot of times, Serena, when we get into these um, venues or events or circles, networking circles, we always just talk about what we do and how we could take. But I felt like the key word that she stated was of being of service.
Yeah.
How can you be of service to someone? That doesn't mean be somebody's fool. That doesn't mean that. Here's the thing: when you show up in the best light for someone else, that gives them the opportunity to do the same thing for you. But when you show up as a taker, people will eventually start to know this takers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Let's just say I'm outside and I'm dating. There's a difference in me dating someone who actually appreciates the fact of want to take the time to get to know me. And then there's a difference of me dating someone who wants to be a gold digger, just wants to take. So how you show up to these network meetings is so important because it's how you're going to be viewed. Is this person only taking? Is this person only talking about themselves? Because nobody wants to go on a date and only hear the other person talk about them. And they never get that person a chance. You know what I'm saying? Because then you're like, oh, this person's self-centered. I don't want to deal with this. I don't want to deal with that. You know what I mean? So how you show up, how you represent. And the most beautiful thing is when you find authentic people that are genuinely wanting to be a blessing because they have talents and they want to collaborate and they just don't want to drain you. Because like Serena talked about, you have a lot of people who are energy vampires. You have a lot of people that are on assignment to see how bad you want what you say you want, that try to prevent you from getting there.
Yep.
You know, and the real question is, how do you show up for you? Now, it's one thing to meet someone. You would agree, right, Serena? But the fortune isn't made in the initial contact. The fortune is made in how you follow up with the people that you meet. Because, you know, we live in LA. We meet people all the time.
Yeah.
We exchange Instagrams. We might exchange phone numbers. But if there's no follow-up in that scenario, you know what I mean? Then what did the initial meeting lead to? And when you do follow up, are you professional? Are you on time? Are you able to deliver? And not just deliver what you said, but are you able to over deliver? Because when you show up and you do the right thing for the right reasons and you over deliver is why somebody would want to call you back. Because I know that person is dependable. I know that person is going to do their part. I know that I don't have to argue with this person or beg this person to be professional. These are all little things that people don't pay attention to because they're so busy caught up in wanting to take, that other people who are observing, that might be a gatekeeper, that might have an opportunity for you, they watching you how you move. The audition don't just begin, or the networking just doesn't begin when you talk to the person. You don't know how long somebody's been watching you.
Yeah.
It happens when you get out the car. It happens when you walk in the room. It happens with how you treat other people. People are watching you the whole time. So how do you show up? Even when you're leaving, how do you say goodbye? How do you treat people? Even when you follow up, or, you know, do you have the same type of energy? Because you could be one day in the meeting this way and a whole nother person online, you know? So your brand, how you show up, how you carry yourself. Now, here's another thing, right? We all grew up somewhere. Sometimes you have to leave where you grew up at in order to grow. Sometimes you can get so comfortable in your normal routines that you're not even growing because you're just comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to be willing to do something new to get something new.
Yep.
And I love the fact she talked about servitude, and she didn't just talk about herself. You know, it's one thing to talk about yourself because you got to throw your hat in the ring. You got to talk your talk. But being able to talk your talk and serve at the same time, I'll take that combo over number one any day of the week.
Right. And it's so funny that you touched on that too, because I'm the type of person, I am good in front of the camera and behind the camera. I have no problem running a production. I have no problem helping where I need to be, you know, where I need to be planted at, you know, to make things run, you know. I don't have any problem with that. And a lot of people, they feel like, oh, I arrived. Do you know who I am? Do you know who I am? Even Jesus served. Who you think you are?
Uh-oh. Say it again. 15-yard penalty. Flag on the play. Say it again.
Let me rewind that. Even Jesus served. So who you think you are? Like, At the end
Fire.
of the day,
Fire.
At the end of the day, in order to grow, in order for God's favor to be upon your life, there's a blessing in servitude. You're not too good to serve somebody. Right. Now, at the end of the day, we ain't finna let nobody try us or take advantage of us. But if it's genuinely in your heart to be of service, you're always gonna be blessed.
You know, the Bible talks about having the heart of a servant.
Yeah.
You know, it talks about when you get to see God at the end of the day, he's going to say, well done, my good and faithful servant. Well, right? So what is the most important word in that scripture? Well done, my good and faithful servant. Servant is the key word in the scripture, right? Well, what is a servant? A servant is a person that serves. Okay, what is a business? A business is a strawman version of you that provides a service. And if you don't have no customers, then you ain't got no business. But if you're good and faithful, because you got to get the whole scripture, well done, my good and faithful. So when you're good and you're faithful in your service, you will be blessed.
Yep. Let's go.
Let me give y'all a little food for thought. Our second clip of the day.
But an interaction he had this past Friday with one of the school's assistant athletic directors had the team stumped and frankly furious.
I told him the same explanation I just told you. Just trying to get faster, it never hurts to gain speed. And he questioned and said, oh, aren't you already fast as is? I go, yeah. And then he tells me that I gained that speed from running from the police. And that's how I gained that speed.
You heard that and thought what?
That was racist. There was no reason for him to say that.
The school declined to identify the staff member who made those comments, but Tony did not waste any time. He went home, told his mother what happened, and they decided Tony would be taking his talents elsewhere by transferring from Iona Prep to the public high school near his family's home.
We ended up pulling me out of the school. I decided to leave because of my current situation. As I'm already committed, I'm already going to school. I don't feel like I have to stay at a...
That's a lot. Serena, what are your thoughts about the young man who had a teacher or an instructor said that you got faster because you were getting chased by the police? Oh, no, not the glasses. Oh, no. Let me give her a close-up. Let me give her the close-up.
First of all.
Here we go.
Here
we go.
Let me just say this.
Get your popcorn.
This current administration got people feeling like they can be Billy badasses and say whatever they want to say to Black and brown people. But let me tell y'all something, and let me put y'all on notice. We are not our ancestors. We are not going to just sit there and take, your harassment, your bullying, your racism. No, we're going to stand up and we're going to fight for change. And at the end of the day, you can say whatever you want to say, how fast that boy was, but you're just jealous at the fact that God did not give you and your players the talent. Because see, when God made us, with a little melanin in our body, you know what I'm saying? He sprinkled a little magic, like a little magic. So I feel like that's why Black and brown people have so much hate against them, because we are the chosen. Yeah, I said it. Cancel me. Don't cancel me. Whatever you want to say, read it. It's in the Bible. We are the chosen people at the end of the day. Okay? It talked about in the Bible somewhere about after 300 and something years that the slaves will be up back on top and all this. I'm just paraphrasing. Something along those lines, right? Who was the slaves? Us. Huh? Who was Jesus? Jesus was an African American. You know how I know? Because the Bible clearly say, and this is for the people that know how to comprehend, okay? So the Bible clearly say he had skin of brass, hair of wool. Yeah. The only person in the only culture that I know that looks like that is us. Mm-hmm. And another reason how I know that Jesus was Black, because he had lashes on his back. We don't want to talk about that. Y'all crucified Christ. You crucified Christ, right? You whipped them just like you whipped the slaves. And then you want to turn around and whitewash it. And then you want to turn around and see people with talent just like this young man and say what you have to say in reference to that. Then you see Shedeur Sanders that went through a public lynching because he has talent. And I'm just going to talk about myself. When I was in corporate America, you know, it was plenty of times where I am so talented that even the CEOs or people in leadership wanted to suppress me and not allow me to be the best that I can be because they were scared that I would either take that position or I'll outwork them. We're just blessed like that. And it's unfortunate that in 2025 that we still have to deal with this. But I will say that I feel like the reason why a lot of this racist stuff is coming out to the public the way it is because this current administration is making it very what's the word I'm looking for? They're making it very popular to be disrespectful, to be blatantly racist. You know, you're deporting people. Now we just got a word that they're going to start deporting American citizens. Who does that? Who does that? You know? So my thing is, and what I want to say to all my Black and brown people out there, this is a time where we need to stand together. Yeah, we're resting and we talking about what a fans at, all this stuff, you know, doing the little dance and stuff. We doing all that, right? But we really need to educate ourselves about what is going on because a lot of this stuff that's happening, a lot of the executive orders that are being signed is against our people. Because we are talented. We are not just DEI hires. We're merit-based. We are one of the most educated people in the United States of America, and we do not get our kudos for that.
Right.
So at the end of the day, the only thing I can say is educate your kids. And I'm glad that young man stood up for what he felt. You know, he didn't laugh about it. He's like, okay, y'all disrespecting me. And it was a grown man that said this to a kid. And the kid had sense enough to say, oh, I'm a good player. You know what? I'm gonna take my talents elsewhere because you do not value who I am as a person, and because of that, I'm gonna have to put the deuces. So that's all I got to say on that.
I look at it as certain people in white culture, like how Gilly said it, they set reminders that you're still a nigga.
Facts.
Doesn't matter how successful you are. Doesn't matter if you come from a good family. You have someone like LeBron James, multi-billionaire, moved to LA, house gets spray painted. Mm-hmm. You have someone like Shedeur, dad is an NFL Hall of Fame legend. Shout out to Deion Sanders. And he raised two amazing young men. They're not in trouble. They're talented. Shedeur, technically, to me, definitely should have been the first round pick. And they had to make an example. You had Colin Kaepernick, who lost his career because they had to make an example. Mm-hmm. Because it falls under the black highlight. And what I mean by that is when you have our counterpartners do the same thing. Well, what do you mean? Shout out to the Manning family. You know, Archie was an amazing quarterback. Peyton was an amazing quarterback, came out of Tennessee. Eli was a fire quarterback that came out of Ole Miss. When Eli was going to the NFL, his draft day, Archie said he wasn't going to let his son play in certain places. Mm-hmm. And Archie made sure that Eli went to the Giants.
Yep.
When Deion did the same thing for Shedeur, they made up a false narrative about Shedeur.
Yep.
And at the same time, I believe they manipulated people because it became the most watched NFL second round, third day draft ever because everybody wanted to know where was Shedeur going to go.
Yep.
See, that's star power. That's star power. And that's manipulation of people's emotions because guess what? If we can keep everybody here, that's a bigger return on investment because they're going to keep watching the draft at the same time.
Yes.
We shouldn't have to play down how great we really are. And I don't like it when you have a black quarterback like a Cam Newton or someone that's passionate on the field. Our passion is received as anger.
Mm-hmm.
But when our counterpartners have the same passion, they're warriors, they're leaders. The narrative is totally different for two different people. So for this young man to have to be told by another grown adult, you're only fast because the police chase you. Let's break that down. You're clearly telling me how you view me.
Facts.
You're clearly telling me that you know that there's a difference in how I'm being treated and how you're being treated. That goes back to my girl, Jane Elliott. How many people are racist in a room full of people, white people?
Mm-hmm.
No one raised their hand. She says, okay, awesome. So all of us in here, we're not racist. I love that. That was the setup. Then Jane Elliott said, how many people want to be treated like a black person? Raise your hands.
Nobody raised their hand.
Nobody raised their hands. She said, I'm sorry, did you guys hear the question? How many of you want to be treated like a black person? Why didn't anyone raise their hands?
Right.
Because you just said you weren't racist. But the reason why you didn't raise your hand is because you know that there's a difference. And that difference is what makes it racist.
Yeah.
And I just love Jake for that. I thought that was so brilliant, so powerful, so awesome. So I'm glad that that young man took his talents where he could be appreciated. I'm glad that Shedeur is able to stand on his own and he doesn't have to be dependent of the NFL, because a lot of times the NFL is a farming system, right, of black athletes that they collect or whatever else for a bigger return on investment. A player will never make the same type of money that an owner will make. Yes, you might won a Super Bowl ring or a championship ring or, a World Series ring, but guess what? While you got a ring, my family's buying islands. Who's really winning in the equation?
Facts.
Let's please not be fooled. I just sorry that young man had to go through that. I'm glad he took his talent somewhere else. And we're going to take our conversation somewhere else. We're going to go to the next one.
Yeah.
On Sunday evening, 60 Minutes decided to do a deep dive into the 238 people that the Trump administration has rounded up from here in the United States and sent down to that prison in El Salvador, the CECOT, it's called, CECOT. It has been described as a torture prison. People have called it a slave prison, one of the most horrific super prisons on the planet, basically. And 238 people from the United States, including some people totally innocent, regular green card holding people, were sent down there. But the Trump administration maintains that aside from the one guy they totally messed up on, but refused to bring back, everybody else was a horrible criminal. Like just the worst of the worst. We're getting rid of the gang members and the murderers. So 60 Minutes realized, you know what? If these people actually have these criminal records, like the Trump administration has given us the names, how about we do a simple search and see how many have criminal records? And it turns out, based on their investigation, 75% of these people, 75%, had no criminal record at all.
Sad. It's sad. But you know what it reminds me of? And I ain't trying to be rude. What it's like to be black in America. You know how many black people are wrongfully arrested? You know how many black people are wrongfully lynched? You know how many black people are wrongfully killed? So it's sad. It's nothing new. It's not a wow, shocking factor because we've been living this experience for the longest. It's not cool. It's not right. It's not fair. We want unity. We want love. We want healing. We want things to change. But when I hear things like this, I'm not shocked. And it's sad not to be shocked because you lived in this toxicity for so long that you don't want to become desensitized to someone else's situation. And you want to have the understanding, but yet you still dealing with the PTSD of your own situation. And you can't help save someone else until you really learn how to love on you and have love and unity in your own community. But what I will say is this: love and unity is the antivirus to the system of oppression. And it takes every single color in the crayon box to create a beautiful picture. So why are we destroying something with invisible lines of hate that we're clearly being programmed to believe to be true? And when we get off that program and we inject the antivirus of love and unity, things will change. And when we start affecting people's pockets, because in order to get change, you have to be willing to make sacrifice. In order to sacrifice, you got to be willing to pay a price. What price are you willing to pay to get the changes that you say that you want to see? Because if you're not willing to pay the price to create the change, then why are you complaining? And I just leave it right there. Your thoughts, Serena?
Well, it reminds me of the Jim Crow era. I watched the documentary, and I remember this young lady. She was a white young lady. She was talking about, the segregation and things of that nature. And from a perspective of a white teenager back in the day, the government literally pumped fear into the white race that Black people are dangerous, brown people are dangerous, Indians are savages. And I'm literally witnessing that. We are literally witnessing that today. Trump has pumped so much hate, so much fear about people that they just said don't have a record. This man has 34 counts of felonies, and have yet to be handcuffed and put in jail. But he has the power to deport innocent Americans, whether they got a green card, whether, they are here because of their kid was born here, whatever the reason is, they're an American, right? He has the power to deport them because he wants to put fear into his people to make it seem like they are the problem. But in retrospect, if you look at the amount of school shootings, if you look at the two people that tried to shoot at him at his rallies, if you look at bombings on the train, if you look at all type of things when it comes to violence, when it comes to rape, when it comes to lynching, it all was the white race, right? And these are facts. These are facts. And the fact that we have a system that looks at the Black Panther Party, who was literally put together to help the Black community be fed, get their bills paid, all the things to make sure that we're functioning as a Black community. They dismantled the Black Panther Party. But you still have the KKK, who is alive and well till this day. And a matter of fact, I just saw a news article where the KKK, and I believe it's in Missouri, is trying to adopt a highway. So the NAACP came out and said, listen, I need you guys to be on notice that the KKK is adopting highways, and those highways are going to end up being sundown towns. So with that said, it's history repeating itself. And one thing I will say, after the 4 years, because I don't think this man finna get 8, because he already messed up stuff in his whole 100 days. He messed up a lot of stuff. I don't think that he's going to make it to another term, which you can't do that anyway, but they're trying to make it happen. But I don't think that's going to happen. I feel like this Trump administration is going to have lawsuit upon lawsuit upon lawsuit that he don't have no choice but to move to Russia with Putin, with his best friend, because people are going to be after him. And I feel like this term for Trump is more revenge, because the first time he had got in as president, I feel he didn't really know what he was doing, and he don't know what he's doing now. But I feel like he didn't know a lot of things, and at that time he was just trying to figure stuff out. A lot of people was coming after him because he had a lot of debts that he needed to pay, whether it was the rape allegations with the young lady that I forgot her. I think it's Stormy. When Stormy came out about the rape allegations, and other young ladies came out about, you know, what he did to them back in the days, about the fraud, about all of the things that he did in business that was unethical. So when he was exposed for that, he really took his time to find out, how can I become president to get all these charges wiped away? I won't be held accountable, which he's never held accountable. So when I come back, everybody that came after me, I'm going to inflict revenge. The Black community came after him. Politicians came after him, especially Democrats. New York came after him. Countries came after him. And everything that I'm naming, he's going after every single one of them. So it's like we're living history all over again. And I feel so bad for those families that are, you know, fatherless right now because their father or their husband is in El Salvador for no reason, because of color of their skin. That is insane. Yesterday, a law was, I don't know if it was passed, but they were voting on it. You want to know what the law was? Is it okay to deport American citizens? The Republicans said yes, and it was a lot of them. So not only are they now trying to deport, you know, people that look of a Mexican and Hispanic descent, oh, they're gonna come after Black people too. So keep your head on the swivel, because I don't know what's gonna happen. And honestly, and I ain't trying to scare nobody, but if you're in a red state, I would advise you to make preparations to either move or to a blue state, or find somewhere where you will not be subjected to any harassment to the third degree when this law passed, because they're really trying to do that. And the thing is, and I'm gonna wrap this up real quick. The thing is, when Trump was campaigning, he literally talked about the Project 2025 that he, first of all, he talked about. Then he said he didn't know anything about it. And then when he sat there and got elected, the people that actually put the Project 2025, the authors of this program, came on X and said, oh, I was just playing. Yeah, it is Project 2025. And guess what? Project 2025 is laid out. Everything that he's doing executive order, he's taking all of our rights away. And what you gonna do about it? We sitting here, we're talking about it. And I said this before on somebody's page, because they're like, man, I can't believe they let him get away with all this stuff. Yes, they are letting them get away with all this stuff. You know why? Because we as a people, we're not coming together to stop it. All we doing is talking. I can't be the only one that marched my behind down to Washington and said, this is not gonna be what's up. We got to change some laws. You know, this is not fair. This is unconstitutional. I can't be the only one. We have to come together collaboratively. So whenever you guys are ready, we're ready. That's all I gotta say.
The only thing I want to add to that is, I won't say all white people. I will say,
of course,
you know, because people try to take that context and try to run with that narrative. That's not what she was saying. So please don't try to manipulate or take some soundbite to make it seem as if that's that. It's not that. Because there were white people during slavery that opened up their homes to black people to help them get to freedom. And they got called nigger lumber.
Yep.
So we're just talking about people who manipulate the positions of power in that. And guess what? You had black people catching black people and selling them to. So, but there's a huge difference. But don't take that soundbite and manipulate it and act like black people's racism to themselves is the same thing as how people culturally have been racist to black people. So don't try to, you know how y'all do. You know how y'all do.
Mm-hmm. I clear it all up too, because baby, no, we ain't doing that.
At the end of the day, it goes back to what I said earlier: unity and love. But what they've done is they've desensitized us so much that we don't know how to love ourselves, so we don't know how to love the next person to us, because they know the power of unity and love.
Yeah.
And here's the statement that you made earlier. You talked about we the people. If we the people actually knew that we the people had power, then we the people wouldn't let other people control we the people. People can only control we the people is because we the people don't function or move like we are we the people.
Mm-hmm.
We move if we have no authority, which is so false. The power is in the majority, and we the people are the majority, but there you have people that sit on top, right? Only because we allow it. We voted, or we don't vote, or we don't pay attention. And when they do all the little things, when you're looking left, they're moving right. They've been plotting and planning for years. What's happening now isn't just happening now. It's been planned years ago.
Yep.
You know, the same way they're coming out with the truth about COVID and that patent. But then you got lied and manipulated and used by people years ago for a different agenda that they're installing right now that you're just hearing about.
Yep. And people just passing out. They just standing there and they just pass out.
That part. Let's get into this one. This is going to be a good one. I think this might be my favorite segment of the day.
These cameras, how much do they weigh?
100 pounds.
So these cameras are a beast. You know, once they load it up, can't do handheld with these cameras.
No, even though you put on your shoulder ones. It's
I
like a tipping ship, right? It's just not ergonomic.
Yeah.
We had two MSMs and we had one high speed. They're lighter than the other one, but when you build it out, it gets heavier.
You handheld that camera?
Yes, we both did, yes.
We both did.
It was fun.
Yeah.
It's like kind of a little fridge on your shoulder.
And it's in the movie.
Yes.
So, the movie he's talking about is Sinners. They're talking about the cinematography of Sinners. Serena, have you seen Sinners yet?
I haven't, but I was told I need to go see it. I'm a little scary. So I was like, I was trying to, hang in the back a little bit. But everybody that I'm talking to in reference to that movie is telling me that it's amazing. It's not scary. It's opening insight about what goes on in our industry. So yeah.
It's not a horror film at all. Not even close. Nothing scary about it. From my perspective, it's more about how people try to want to suck those vampires are trying to suck out our culture and steal our culture. Culture vultures. That's what it's about. And I won't say anything else about this segment because I don't want to ruin the film for you to go see.
Right.
I will say there's this one thing that happens in the film that's so iconic. It transforms the film from being a great film to iconic. And you'll know when you go watch it. And that's all I'll say about that. Shout out to Ryan. I plan on working with you real soon, brother. Shout out to Michael B. Jordan. You did your thing. Shout out to all the actors in that. You guys were brilliant, amazing. Keep just doing great work. I know you got the new movie that you're supposed to be working on, the King of Africa, the richest king, man, Master Musa.
Yeah,
almost messed up and said Lion King, Mufasa, Master Musa. So congratulations to you, Ryan. I actually shouted you out in my book because you did Fruitvale Station, and that meant so much to me, and it made me want to write my book, my freshman book, A War on Friendly Grounds. And I actually included your name and Michael B. Jordan's name in my book because I wanted to tell you thank you. And I got to see you in person at the Black Panther grand opening here at the Chinese Theater. Got to help you out. I got to help your wife out when she was getting back in the theater. But that was your moment, and it wasn't a time for me to try to steal a moment for myself. But I know that God will make room for that moment between us to be able to happen. And I'll be able to go back to this tape and say, bro, on this date at this time, while I was here with Serena Renee, when I was talking about how we were going to work together, how I get to meet you, how I get to pick your brain, how I get to learn from Mike and everything else and just make something amazing and continue on that trajectory that you're on, because it's a path that I love. Thank you for being a trailblazer. And as a director, it's one that I want to follow.
Right.
Let's move into our last one of the day.
You ever had a gut feeling that maybe you were meant for more, but you weren't really sure what the next best steps were to achieve it? Me too. So what's your more? What's your destination? And I'm not talking about just more money or more things. I'm also talking about more love, more joy, more choice, more balance, more trust. What's your more?
I'm gonna go ahead and let you cook because I see it in your eyes. I
That
see it in your eyes.
good.
Go ahead.
That was so good. Like, what's your more? Like, that's kind of touching for me because
I see it. I knew it.
it's so touchy to me because, like, since I've been out here in Hollywood, I've been straight grinding. Like, people are talking about, oh, you need to have fun, whatever. The fun is going to come. I had this guy, very attractive media person, fine as all get out. You know, he's like, what do you do for fun? And I'm like, I don't even know. So what is my more? My more is to continue to do what I'm doing, but also allow myself to live just a little bit, you know, to smile just a little bit. Because sometimes when you're hustling, when you're grinding, when you're trying to be a generational curse breaker and be the first in your family to break things and, you know, be the first in your family to do something that's big, right? It takes a lot. It's draining.
Facts.
So I do, for me, my more is I want to smile more. I want to, you know, just go outside and enjoy the sun, you know, like little things that people take for granted. Because a lot of times, like, when you're aiming for something greater, those little things are like in the back, way in the back. And it's like, you know, you see people with their family going to the park. You see people having, you know, dinner at the table with their family. You know, I haven't spoke to my, well, I ain't gonna say ain't speak because I speak to my family every once in a while, but I haven't seen my family since I've been here for 2 years. So you miss out on things. I miss family time. So my more is I want more family time. Yeah. You know, I want more love because I'm so guarded. You know what I mean? I want to receive it and I want to give it. But because I'm so focused, huh?
I said, whoa.
No, just shut up. Because I'm so focused. No, for real. Because I'm so focused, it's kind of like I don't even know how to give that anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like I give it, but it's not like, you know, I give it and be like, okay, just stay on that for a little bit because I'm a little scared. I don't know if I can accept it right quick. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. But I love what you said. What is your more?
Man, that's such a fire and powerful question. You know what my more is for me? I want more forgiveness. I want to forgive myself more. I want more grace. I want to give myself more grace. I want to give myself more mercy. I want to give more praise. I want to give more gratitude. I want to have a better attitude. My more is just the appreciation of being present. My more is being grateful that I get to take another breath. My more is I want to wake up to my boys every single day and just be a dad, be a father, or be more of me. Like I want more of what I'm supposed to be and not what I want to be.
Yes.
Because a lot of times we go after what we want and not what we're supposed to be. I want to be more obedient. Yeah. I want to have more discipline. I want to have more like-mindedness. I want to have more creations that I want to give birth to. I want to play all out while I'm here because one day I won't be able to play no more. One day you will not be able to play anymore. And when that bill comes, will you be happy with everything that you've done? Yeah. And I feel like the only way for me to be more of me is I have to forgive me. My 5, 10, 15, 20, 30, 35, 40, 45-year-old self. I have to find the forgiveness. I'm 45.
Oh.
I have to find the forgiveness in my timeline. I have to find the grace in my timeline. I have to go back and look at the game tape of my life and say, okay, if I want more, then I need to do more action instead of just talking. I need to be more consistent. And I need to show up for me more.
Yeah.
I need to block out distractions more. I need to be more focused, more loving, more thoughtful, more just big up in myself, more manifestation. It's amazing how you made it this far. And you've been carrying all that trauma. It's amazing that you made it this far and you ain't even forgiven yourself. My question to you is, if trauma and all your traumatic experiences and forgiveness were all packed in suitcases, where are you taking it? How long could you run with carrying all this dead weight of emotions? So when you learn how to forgive yourself and you're not holding on to all that pain from yesterday, how much more peace would you have today? And if you made it this far already, how much further could you go if you actually showed up and gave yourself more and became the best version of you? Like, you made it this far in life, to whatever age you are, because everybody don't make it to the age that you are. There are a lot of people that are in the graveyard that wish they were alive to have your type of problems. But if you got to see the day, I want to tell you a secret. And I'm going to be talking about this Saturday. You are unbreakable. And one moment doesn't get to decide your life.
Yeah.
You do. And the day you decide that you're going to be great, that you're going to go after it, is the day that the world is going to say, well, let's see how bad you want it. Not that it's not possible. But let's see. Because there's one last gem I want to give you guys. My acting teacher says everybody knows what it takes to make it in acting. It ain't no secret. But everyone ain't willing to put in the work. Everyone knows what it takes to lose weight. But everyone ain't willing to show up to the gym to lose the weight.
Mm-hmm.
If you want more, more is available. But more comes with the price. And are you willing to pay the price so that way you can have the more, because it's waiting for you? Any other gems, sis?
I do. Well, I don't have. Well, I got to ask you a question, because
Yes.
when I said I wanted more love, what was that about?
Huh?
Sorry.
Oh, I was just trolling because you was like, you want to receive it and give it. I said, ooh, okay, all right.
I know I'm a little hard.
Oh no, I was trolling you. My mind went somewhere else. I was trolling you.
Okay. But
Look, bing.
it went right over my head.
Because you was like, I want more love and I want to give more love. I said, oh,
I did not do it like that.
Look, man, we just want to have more fun, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And enjoy the fact that we get another breath. That's more. Every breath you take is more. So enjoy that. And matter of fact, today's a perfect way to end today's show. Shout out to my brother Amir Suleiman, because I love this quote. I don't care what nobody else say. Amir Suleiman said, one day you will be somebody's ancestor. Act accordingly.
Dang. Who said that?
Fire. Amir Suleiman. Look up the poem. Just type in this on YouTube. One day you will be someone's ancestor. Act accordingly. And the beautiful part about the poem, because the whole poem is fire, but the one thing that resonates in my spirit, he says, do you not know, and this is a remix because I put a little bit of Odobaso song on it. He says, do you not know that death has mounted its steed, and death has been chasing you since the day you were born? The question is, will death find you in your purpose, or will it find you in your excuses? Because it's coming. Woo! To me, sis, that is so freaking powerful, and it makes me want to do more. because I do not want death to catch up to me and me making excuses. I want to be in, I'm going to be moving in my purpose because I'm here for a purpose. So I must live with a purpose, on purpose.
Mhm.
And the more I get rid of all the excuses, the further I can go in my purpose.
Well, you going all deep. I'm rebuking that in Jesus' name.
That was a fire. That was fire. That was fire.
It was fire, but we.
Well, no, we all gonna go one day.
I ain't trying to think about that. I'm trying to be more happy right now. Okay.
Then be happy that you're here.
I'm trying to live a little. Okay. A little
And
more.
guess what? Don't try. Live. Don't exist. Live. And keep doing what you've been doing. That's why you're the one-stop shop.
Hey.
But you're more than one stop. Where people want to shop. Keep being great, sis. Keep being amazing.
You too, man. I'm proud of you. Keep being the king that you are. King Jacquel Martin.
Yes,
your name is about to ring in a lot of homes. You know, when you walk out, you won't be able to walk out without your personal security guard because they're gonna be like, "Oh, that's King right there."
Yeah.
You know.
Listen.
It's coming.
I had a funny quote. I talked about how you have to practice in private, so that way you could show out in public.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I was, I do security. I'm at the restaurant doing security. And I'm walking around the parking lot. And I've been practicing all these speeches. So if you wonder why I'm such a good speaker, because I practice in a parking lot, in the dark, walking around. People see me practicing, a black man in a security suit or whatever I'm wearing, speaking. What the heck is wrong with this guy?
In Hollywood.
In Hollywood, he must be crazy. Weird. Da-da-da-da. What led me to this question is, do you get mad at blind people for being blind? Most people say, no, I don't get mad at blind people for being blind.
If they hit you with that stick. I'm just playing. Okay, let me stop.
And so the thing about it is how many people can see your dream? Well, wouldn't that they be considered blind to your dream? But we get mad when they don't support our dream. Well, it's not their responsibility to support our dream. But you know what blind people can eventually see? And people can see?
What's
results.
That?
Results. Yep. Results. And results don't lie. Your results today is based off of all your decisions of yesterday. If you don't like your results today, then you need to just make some adjustments. So that way you can get different results.
Right.
You got to show up different if you want different.
Yep.
You can't do Groundhog's Day and expect something different. Insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting change. Mm-hmm. So when I was at the Westin at LAX, because I speak there Saturday, and I got there and I was like, man, Lord, we ain't in the parking lot no more. And guess what? Pretty soon I won't have to go back to the parking lot ever again.
Let's go.
But I'm grateful for the parking lot because that's where I got to sharpen my tools.
Yes.
That it helps me change my family so that way I can walk on purpose. Y'all need to be grateful for your parking lot because it's where you get to make mistakes and learn and grow and do all these different things in the parking lot and try out different things, right? Because you'll never find a dictionary that you'll find success before sacrifice, opportunity, and failure. Because you have to fail at the opportunity and sacrifice to get the success that you want. So what you do in private prepares you to be able to show out in public. And Saturday, I'm going to show out.
As you should. As you should. I'm so proud of you. I'm rooting for you. I won't be able to make it, but listen, I'm there in the spirit. I know you're going to do amazing.
I'm going to win.
And I pray that God.
We're going to bring one of these homes.
Hey.
You're not just talking.
One time for the one time.
You know what I'm saying? We're not just talking it. We live in it. If you can't tell, there it is.
Yes, of course.
We're not talking it. We're not just talking it. We live in it. You know what I'm saying? We're not just talking it. We really living it out here. You know what I mean? And that's not this isn't a brag thing or whatever else. This isn't me bragging or whatever else. This is just gratitude. And this is where all the practice comes from. You know what I mean? So when you keep showing up to be the best version of yourself, the results won't lie. And I only have that because I was willing to practice in the dark and get laughed at and don't care. Sometimes you don't care what nobody else thinks. Just become your dream. And that's why Serena Renee is where she is right now, in the rooms that she's in right now, because she's focused, she's locked in, and she don't care what anybody else thinks, because she got a goal to get to.
I really don't.
You did. That's our show. King Jaquel Martin. I'm here with the one-stop shop, Serena Renee. You did get at us. Yes, Sirski.
Yes, Serena Renee, one-stop shop. I'm here with King Jaquel Martin, the mouthpiece that's going to break the chains of a lot of generational curses on a lot of people, that's going to give you the motivation that you need to get to the next level. Make sure you guys follow him, follow his journey as he go to Toastmasters this weekend, and show my man some love. Show him some love.
Yes. I'll let y'all. You dig.
Bye.